The battle for Karnataka is far from over. The hearing of the Congress party's plea challenging BJP's B.S. Yeddyurappa's swearing in as Karnataka CM is underway in India's apex court. Appearing on behalf of Yeddyurappa, Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi submitted 2 letters from the BJP leader. The Congress, on the other hand, asked for time to meet the President. This comes after the Congress MLAs were moved to Eagleton Resort near Bengaluru amid allegations of horse trading. And to bring us more details on this news story, I am joined in by our correspondent Nischita Virender, who's reporting live from Bengaluru. Let's quickly go across to Nischita. Nischita, it's a very crucial day for the BJP and for the Congress because let's not forget what can worry Yeddyurappa and BJP is part of the bench's order which said that the swearing in is subject to the outcome of Friday's hearing, which is today.
Absolutely, and that is why the Supreme Court bench hearing is extremely crucial, Akanksha. And the BJP, on one hand, is exuding confidence that they do have the numbers on their side. I yet to submit the letter with all the signatures to the Supreme Court bench. According to a petition that was filed in the High Court, the attached document said that only 104 signatures had been signed in this document. And the JDS and the Congress, on the other hand, claim that they have 116 MLAs on their side. Another interesting aspect really coming to light here is that the JDS and Congress MLAs and the leaders saying that they have an upper hand because now a pro-term speaker should be elected, and they are confident that a pro-term speaker will come from Congress's end and not from the BJP. Now, a pro-term speaker is a temporary speaker who is appointed on the floor of the House, and the pro-term speaker will have a say in appointing the next speaker, the elections for the next speaker that will be held on the floor of the House, as well as to a call for a trust vote. Now, this pro-term speaker is appointed based on seniority by the Governor Vajubhai in this case, and in all likelihood the Congress is expected to suggest the name of Mr. R.V. Deshpande, former Industries Minister, as well as an 8-time MLA, and the BJP is expected to put forth the name of Umesh Katti, who's also an 8-time MLA. Now, following this, the speaker elections will be held, and the Congress and JDS feel that they're confident that since they have 116 members, they will get to have a strong say in who the speaker will be, and the moment they choose a speaker, it automatically leads to Yeddyurappa's chief ministership becoming null and void. The BJP, on the other hand, will hope to get the support of some JDS and Congress MLAs. As of now, 3 MLAs are not present in the Congress JDS camp, and that is Anand Singh. He has not been present ever since the election results came out. He's a mining baron who had recently switched over from the BJP to the Congress right ahead of elections. Then there is Pratap Gowda Patil, who's the Muski MLA, and then there's also Rajshekhar Patil, who was there in the resort until yesterday, but he stepped out citing an emergency but never returned. But still, the Congress says that they have 76 MLAs on their side. The JDS has 38, which easily crosses over the 113 mark, and the BJP still does not have the numbers on their side. That is the argument really being put forth, and the Congress and the JDS pushing also for an appointment with the President so that they can do a float, so that they can parade their MLA.
By our political editor, Mr. Kartikeya Sharma, live from the newsroom. Kartikeya, as Nischita aptly pointed out, that the JDS and Congress are clearly, their numbers are surpassing the BJP at the moment. So a very, very crucial number out there. Also, let's not forget that today's bone of contention is Karnataka Governor Vajubhai's discretion. How would you analyze his discretion in terms of the Constitution?
I think the bottom line is that there is going to be a floor test. I think that's where the news has gone. There's going to be a floor test on Saturday in next 24 hours. And the floor test will decide, which means that ultimately what happens on the floor of the House will be binding on the governor, because governor is also bound by certain rules. So it will be decided by the numbers they have. So SC has said it's a number game, and the governor needs to see which party has majority. Now that the BJP is claiming majority and the single largest party, in such case either governor's decision should be tested or conducted a floor test on Saturday. This is not the first time Supreme Court is forcing a floor test within a time basis. I remember in 2016 there was a floor test which was forced on the government of Uttarakhand, and then Chief Minister Mr. Rawat. He had to go through a floor test under the the observers appointed by the Supreme Court of India, and the floor test took place in Dehradun. So yes, in that floor test the government of Harish Rawat survived. But in this case, I don't think governor has the Supreme Court has appointed any observer, but then it has to decide the modality of a floor test, because floor test is no child's game. Sometimes floor tests have become very violent, where a lot of shoving and pushing sometimes take place. Or the second way of doing a floor test is the parade before the governor. You take your MLAs and parade them before the governor. So that floor test can also take place.
Right, Kartikeya, very rightly pointed out by you that a floor test is going to be the acid test at the moment. Also, don't you think, Kartikeya, there is a contrast in terms of how the Supreme Court acted back when, it refused to intervene during the swearing-in of Manohar Parrikar in Goa compared to now?
Hey, the government received a challenge from the opposition within 24 hours. They went to the court. What happened in Goa was, once the government was made, then the matter went to the bench of Justice K. And Mr. K said that, why were you late? You should have protested. You should have come to us earlier. Now the government is there. The numbers have been there. The governor has been satisfied. So that was that is the reason why so much of I would say speed has been shown by both the JDS and Congress. Now issue is that the letter which has been submitted to the Supreme Court does not have the total names of the MLAs supporting the Bharatiya Janata Party, which means eight more MLAs. So tomorrow we'll come to know what's going to happen, whether it's going to be a open game, or whether it's going to be horse trading, whether someone is not going to vote, or someone is not going to, or then modality has to be decided, whether it's going to be a parade, whether it's going to take place in the assembly, but you don't have a pro tem speaker. So all those modalities will have to be decided. Now the ball is in the governor's court, but numbers will decide. Numbers will decide as to who will form the government. So what the court has done is that it has also deprived Bharatiya Janata Party of time. BJP would have used 15 days to prove its majority. Now everything has to be done in 24 hours. So I think it's sort of a relief, I would say, for Congress and JDS, for simple reason that now everything has to be done in 24 hours. Every MLA has to come back in 24 hours. So even if the poaching has to be done, it has to be done in 24 hours. So when you reduce the time, you reduce the time for horse trading. So I think this is a very welcome decision, and tomorrow will be the firework.
Right. Very rightly pointed out by you, Kartikeya, that by reducing the time, they have also reduced the chances of horse trading taking place. Let me quickly go across to Nagin, our correspondent who is currently deployed at the Supreme Court in Delhi. Nagin, it is indeed a very, very crucial day, because let's not forget that this might be a cause of worry for BJP and Yeddyurappa, since a part of the bench's order which said that the swearing-in was subject to the outcome of Friday's hearing, and that's actually taking place today.
Well, first, Supreme Court had asked for the letters of which was written by Mr. Yeddyurappa to the governor on 15th and 16th. And now today the letters are with Supreme Court, and what they have observed that in these letters, it has been written that Mr. Yeddyurappa is the leader of the major party, one of the party which had the maximum number of seats in Karnataka. However, there was no mention of the number of MLAs who are supporting, or any number which reaches near majority. And as Mr. Rohatgi, the senior lawyer who is representing Mr. Yeddyurappa, he has said that they wanted to prove the majority on the floor in the Legislative Assembly. That is the reason that they haven't mentioned the name of these politicians or the MLAs in the list. And finally, within 24 hours, they have to prove the majority. So it is a kind of relief for Congress, because they will not be getting the 15 days of time. BJP will not be getting 15 days of time. Normally in Karnataka, it has been seen in the past as well that horse trading or the MLAs moving from Karnataka in different parts when horse trading actually occurs. So there is less time for that, and it will be tomorrow it will be clear that if Mr. Yeddyurappa is able to prove the majority in the floor or not, on the floor or not.
Nagin, let me quickly also go across to Nishchita, who's joining us live from Bengaluru. Nishchita, We just heard Nagain, also at the moment, it is important to come back to the point that the ball is still in the governor's court. And after today's hearing, how will the governor take things forward?
That's one of the biggest problems that the Congress and JDS alliance had with the governor's decision was when Yeddyurappa himself had asked for a week's time to prove majority on the floor of the House. What was the necessity for the governor to give him 15 days time? Is this an opportunity being given to the BJP to horse trade MLAs, to snatch MLAs from the JDS and Congress? That is the question that was raised. So now the Supreme Court, by saying that on Saturday a floor test should be conducted, has essentially removed that complaint altogether. As Kartikeya as well as Nagain pointed out, it has not given the BJP enough time, if they want time, to convince the MLAs to come on their side of the floor. And this essentially reduces the entire drama in the state of Karnataka. It will not be stretched over the next 15 days' time, and it could actually work in favor of the Congress and JDS, who have holed up all their MLAs in a resort, in a hotel in Hyderabad's Banjara Hills, even as we speak. And they actually wanted to go before the president and parade their MLAs, but now they might have to just come back to Bengaluru, and tomorrow a floor test might be conducted before the governor. And if the Congress and JDS manage to prove that they have the numbers on their side, then Yeddyurappa will have to immediately step down as the chief minister.
Right. Let me also go across to Kartikeya on a last note. Kartikeya, this is more or less also about a constitutional satisfaction coming in from the governor instead of personal satisfaction.
A very heated discussion is taking place in the apex court between the former AG Mukul Rodgi and Congress MP and lawyer Abhishek Manu Singhvi. SC is asking on what basis the governor decide who can provide stable government on the face of a claim of a majority supported by a single largest party, and on the other hand a written support of majority to Congress JDS. Mukul Rodgi has been saying in the court that support will come from MLAs belonging to the Congress and JDS. So Mukul Rodgi is openly saying that the Congress and JDS MLA will support a BJP government. And then he says, I don't want to say anything more at the same time because the BJP has not opened its list in the court. So the letters written by Congress JDS does not show signs of each and every MLA declaring its support to the post-poll alliance. I have instructions from several MLAs from the other side that they have not given written support to Congress JDS combined. And Mukul Rodgi is claiming that the reason why he is not naming those MLAs is because those MLAs, hidden MLAs of Congress and JDS, will support them during the floor test, which means they have admitted that there will be cross-voting.
So that is
BJP says that the mandate is with them because they are the single largest party. And then it says that the final test, the test of pudding, is the floor of the House says that it is true that the test will take place, but it is also about who enters the arena. SC says no doubt it is ultimately a number game, and governor is to see which party commands majority support. Governor has to satisfy himself. Justice Sikri said, let there be a floor test, let the House decide. That is the best course, which means the ball is back in the assembly, which means the assembly's autonomy has been respected by courts. Governor's discretion plays an important part. I don't know how the speaker will be elected because you need a pro tem speaker. There is no assembly without a speaker. You cannot conduct a functioning of assembly without a speaker. So very, very, I would say,
crucial
powerful
points.
Arguments.
Absolutely.
Strong arguments made by both sides.
Absolutely, Kartikeya, you said that there are very powerful arguments made at the moment, and that it has been established that this will be finally given a floor test and that things will be carried on to the assembly. How do we see numbers changing now? So are you saying that in the next 24 hours there might be an increase of numbers for the BJP? Let me repeat my question, Kartikeya. So are we saying that there might be an increase in numbers for the BJP?
Mukul Rodgi is saying that the Congress and the JDS MLAs will support them on the floor of the House. So the court is saying that let there be a floor test tomorrow. So the discussion is happening. This is called obita dicta. So the court is saying that let there be a floor test tomorrow. Mukul Rodgi is saying let the House decide. Congress is saying we have the numbers, we respect the floor test, but why did they invite Bharatiya Janata Party and why did Bharatiya Janata Party was given 15 days? So there is a heated discussion taking place with the three judges in front of them, and both Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Mugul Rohatgi are arguing on this. But the fascinating part is that on the issue of State Assembly, the Supreme Court is seized of the matter, and we have seen in past 5 years, or I think starting from 2006 onwards, matters of assemblies have routinely gone to the court, whether it was dismissal of the Bihar government when Bhutta Singh was the governor and then BJP came back to power with Nitish Kumar, or whether it is the issue of Arunachal Pradesh, or whether it is the issue of Tamil Nadu also, or whether it is the issue of Karnataka. In absence of majorities, the matter directly go to Supreme Court because of the problem of horse trading, split, and the fact that sometimes even the speakers don't play a neutral role. And the best example in this case is Kesrinath Tripathi's role when Mulayam Singh was the chief minister and BSP MLAs defected and voted for him. Speaker never disqualified them.
Right. Also, Kartikeya, let me also reiterate to our viewers what the Congress is at the moment arguing. It's saying that it's actually asking, how can the governor think that BJP can prove majority when Congress, JDS combined have the arithmetic of majority MLAs? That also brings me to my next question, Kartikeya, that, it's important for us to break down the powers that the governor actually holds according to the Sarkaria Commission. Why don't you break it down for our viewers?
Absolutely, but before I break it down for the viewers, Congress has agreed for a floor test tomorrow. The Council of the Congress says that we are ready for a floor test on Saturday.
Right.
Which means that the court has said, why not the floor test? Congress says we are ready, which means that the BJP will have to comply with the floor test because they are claiming the numbers. So it is almost becoming certain the order will come in a short time. The question you asked me was, in 2005, the Sarkaria Commission, based on the judgment of Bommai, came out with certain recommendation. The recommendation was that the discretion of the governor has to be respected, one. Secondly, if a party has a majority, it gets to be called first. But in case there is no majority, the single largest party gets the call. In the second case, if single largest party is not able to form the government, then then you have to call a post-poll alliance. And in case the post-poll alliance is not there, then you have to call a party with post-poll alliance with active support from outside. Now, Bombay judgment has said that it is not important that you call a single largest party. You need to call a stable majority. So in that case, if you have a single largest party for, say, if an assembly of 200, a party has 90 seats, or a party has roughly 80 seats, and there is a pre-poll arrangement, and both parties have got combined 105 seats, according to the Bombay judgment, pre-poll alliance will be called first with stable majority. But in this case, there was no pre-poll arrangement. So that is why, instead of going to Congress and JDS, the BJP got the call first. If JDS and Congress would have had a pre-poll alliance, they would have got the call first. That is why post-poll alliance becomes the second option for the governor. And it is for this reason this, I would say, the drama has taken place. But I'm sure that this drama is going to end on a weekend, because Congress says that there should be videography and proper security of MLAs to vote fearlessly. SC says it will order DGP to make proper arrangement for the floor test on Saturday, which means the floor test is taking place on Saturday.
And that has been clearly established now. And let's also inform our viewers that the Supreme Court has said that it will order DGP to make proper arrangements for the floor test, which is all set to take place on Saturday. That is tomorrow. On that note, let me also go across to Nischita, who's joining us live on this discussion from Bengaluru. Nischita, how important at the moment is it for right now, for Congress and JDS to protect its MLAs?
Well, the Congress and JDS, we can say, will be pleased with the fact that tomorrow there will be a floor test, while the BJP claims that there is support that they have of these JDS and Congress MLAs, the names that they cannot reveal at the moment, but these MLAs will support them on the floor of the House. On the other hand, JDS and Congress are confident that they have the numbers on their side. They have 116 MLAs, and they have even one more MLA who could be supporting them. So in all, they're saying about 116 to 17 MLAs who will support them on the floor of the House, and they're confident that tomorrow, if the floor test is conducted, then they will win and they will disprove that the single largest party, BJP, has the support of the majority MLAs of the House. But certainly the next 24 hours are going to be extremely crucial. As we know, the BJP has been very tactful when it comes to horse trading. Just recalling what happened in 2008, the infamous Operation Kamala, in which the anti-defection law was, they found a way around the anti-defection law, and it was supposed to be masterminded by none other than mining baron Janardhan Reddy, in which nearly 4 JDS MLAs and 3 Congress MLAs voted against their respective parties, voted in favor of the BJP, violated the whip, immediately quit their respective parties, picked up a ticket from the BJP, contested by-elections, and 5 out of those 7 MLAs won the elections. So the BJP's number went from 110 to 115, and they managed to successfully become the majority party on the floor of the House. Whether BJP can repeat that in the next 24 hours on the floor of the Karnataka Assembly again, whether they will create history again, is something that we have to wait and see. But the next 24 hours are going to be very crucial, and having learned from its experience in 2008, in Goa, in Manipur, in Meghalaya, this time around the JDS and Congress are extremely cautious. Hence, they left nothing to chance. There were hectic parleys last night as to whether they should be leaving the city, and eventually they decided they'll head to Hyderabad, as they are said to have received full confidence from the Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao that their MLAs will be protected.
Clearly a very, very crucial time for Congress and the JDS as well as the BJP, who are yet to prove majority, and let's see how the floor test goes on. But let me also inform our viewers about some fresh information coming in, where the court has said that we do not know what transpired between the governor and BSY to get an invite, despite Congress JDS agreeing for floor test. Advocate Sibal has continued to argue that faulting governor's decision to invite Yeddyurappa to form government. Let me also go across to Kartike on this. Kartike, how do you analyze the way the hearing is actually shaping up?
You see, generally, your consequences in politics are more important than what happened. For example, the decision went in Congress party's favor in Arunachal Pradesh. The government was restored for the Congress. But lock, stock and barrel, barring the chief minister, the whole Congress party joined Bharatiya Janata Party. So the consequence was that you have a BJP government there. The procedures favored the Congress, but ultimately you don't have a Congress government there, you don't have a Congress organization there, everything shifted. Now, same thing is applicable here. Right now it seems that the court, is sympathetic towards the view of the Congress party, but ultimately it depends whether you have the numbers or not. If tomorrow Congress or JDS MLAs abstain, cross vote, move the side, do not show up at assembly, Yeddyurappa will have the standing chance for 6 months. So bottom line here is that a party which has the support on the floor of the House will call the shot. And I think that is what is going to happen. Ultimately, it has to be decided when this floor test will happen, how this floor test will happen, who will observe it, how will it be videographed, how many observers are going to be there, how many people will be called inside. I remember journalists were not allowed to witness the floor test in Uttarakhand. Neither former MLAs, because you have a seating arrangement for former MLAs in the gallery and assembly. It was strictly MLAs, observers and police officer. Everyone was frisked. Phones were kept outside. So one has to see if those procedures can be will be applicable in Vidhan Sauda in Bengaluru tomorrow.
Right. Also, we are speaking about the floor test, and that is going to take place under all circumstances tomorrow on Saturday. On one hand, you have the BJP, and on the other, you have the JDS Congress alliance. What are the challenges that you see coming in from, in terms of the floor test? What could be the challenges that are now to be addressed in terms of the floor test? I
think security, then video, which means that every proceeding is recorded, so no one can say this happened and that did not happen. The procedures have to be followed. How many people will get inside? Which is the security agency which will go inside? Who will go inside the hall or not? Whether, frisking of MLAs, sometimes MP and MLAs have done very, very unparliamentary things. I remember during the whole Telangana agitation, one of the Congress MPs came out with a pepper spray in Parliament, and he actually, he did not use it, but he sprayed it in the air, but it caused panic. people felt as to, what is this guy trying to do? Secondly, they will have to decide where this is going to happen. Is it going to happen in governor's chamber, or are they going to open the hall? So all those modalities will have to be decided.
Right. Thank you so much, Kartike, for joining us on this discussion. Nischita Virender also joining us from Bengaluru and again from the Supreme Court. And as we all know, it's been established by the Supreme Court that a floor test is going to take place tomorrow, and now the ball is actually going to be in the Assembly.